Welcome back. We're glad you could join us today. Today's topic is really, really very important, and it's one that often kind of goes by the wayside. We've talked about, what we do and why we do it, and kind of where we came from, but probably one of the biggest things is, the purpose and value of a home inspection. It's almost invaluable for that. And for someone to not get a home inspection, it just really doesn't make practical sense these days. Why is it recommended? Probably one of the biggest things is you go into a home, we do a home inspection, and we find things that you may want to negotiate with the seller on either repairs or credits or whatever. And if you just have, Uncle Bill or Cousin Jimmy going in there because he was a carpenter or a builder at one time, and he says, well, this is broke and that's broke, and you go back to the seller, to the attorney, you don't have a leg to stand on. The reports that we process are considered legal documents. They carry a lot more weight when it's done by someone that's kind of outside of the realm of everyone else that's involved, and it's unbiased opinion with that. So, it's very, very important that a home inspection is done. I mean, I've had phone calls too where people will sometimes try and look for the bargain, look for the discount. And we're pretty stand pat on our fees in what we do. And there's a reason for that, and it's because of the thoroughness that we have, and that's all based on the reviews that you can read all throughout the internet about us. But I'll end the conversation. Look, if you don't even want to use me, make sure you get the home inspected. If you do nothing else, get the home inspected. So that's very important.
Yeah, and home inspections now, the reason that we have the standards that we do is if you go back 10, 15, 20 years, there weren't really any standards at all. And there's a bit of a stigma that home inspectors today are still trying to overcome. There was a time where you could have a plumber or a contractor come in and they would, inspect the areas of their expertise without actually having, concrete or, uniform standard operating procedure or standards of practice, I should say, to make sure that they were covering every aspect of the home. So the reason we say that a home inspection is recommended, like we mentioned in previous episodes, is in addition to everything that Kevin said, it's protecting, a very large investment. And you want to make sure that you're making a good investment, and a home inspection can definitely help you do that.
Yeah, you don't want to, without a home inspection, you get to the closing table, you get the keys to the house, you go in the home, and you start running water, and next thing you know, a wall fills up with water, or this doesn't work, or you've got some major issues. At that point in time, you own it. There's no recourse. Where that could have been prevented, or at least you would have been aware of what you were getting into. And again, that's a big part of the home inspection on why it does that.
The inspector's looking at a lot of things that a buyer or potential seller may not even be considering. Kevin and I do a lot of flips and rehabs. So a buyer's coming in, they're seeing the stainless steel appliances, granite countertops, hardwood floors.
Everything's nice and pretty.
Exactly. Yeah. Kevin and I don't see any of that. We're looking in all those, nitty gritty places that, that flipper or rehab is trying to hide. That's where we're getting in, to those attics and those crawl spaces, because that's where we're going to find the most issues potentially. And, like we said before, this is a very large investment. Again, arguably the largest one you'll ever make. So, that's what we're focusing on, those potential structural issues, foundational issues that can really be pricey if you don't have, a trained eye to point them out to you.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, a flip rehab home, we'll get in there, and we've both had situations where we've gotten into what our client thought was going to be their home of their dreams, and we get about halfway through the inspection, and Jared kind of picked this up a little bit later on in his career, but you see that look on the face where it's like, I don't even want to be in this house anymore. Because there's just been so many major issues that have transpired, and there's been times where we've literally stopped the inspection halfway through, at that point, we're not going to charge them for that. We just hope that they're going to call us back on the next one. with that, but we've run across that quite a bit, because there's really no sense in moving forward for them paying for an inspection for a home that they know at that point they're gonna pull out of the deal with that, and you know what, that's okay. You know, it's a big decision that they're making that they need to make sure that they're comfortable with.
Yeah, that's the one thing Kevin definitely instilled in me, from the very beginning, is that, we're not in this for the business of, just taking money just to take it. We want to provide a service, and we want the buyer to see the value in that service. So, like Kevin said, yeah, we can find some pretty major things sometimes in the first 20 minutes to half hour of an inspection, and we know that the buyer does not want that home. And, we've always given them the options, like, hey, like Kevin said, we can keep going, or you can call us for the next one. We're not in the business of taking your money just to take it. We're in the business of, allowing you to, make an informed decision, and hopefully, only having to pay us once. Of course, we'd love for you to refer us. And, if we do move forward and the home doesn't work out, of course, we're always there to do it again. But, in the end, we'd rather take the fee once as opposed to 3 or 4 fees from you.
Yeah, I mean, a home inspection, is it done for the benefit of the buyer or the seller, or both? It's really for the buyer. I mean, the seller may gain some ancillary benefit from it, but it's really for the buyer. That's who we work for. We don't work for the agents. We don't work for the attorneys. We work for the person that brings us on and that hires us. They're our prime client. It may benefit the seller. I mean, we run into situations where sometimes the home inspection has brought something out from a safety issue, whether it be a gas leak or a major plumbing issue that might have had some real safety issues in regards to sewage and things of that nature, and the seller wasn't aware of it, and they were grateful that we were able to bring that out, because they were going to have to get it fixed anyway, but now they know that they're also living in a little bit safe home. We've had situations where, and I know Jared and both have I, where we've inspected a home, and the seller, when they moved, they called us because of the way we inspected their home, which that's quite a compliment. We're normally not the seller's friend. We get that. But when you have the seller of the home that calls and said, I saw how you picked apart my home, I want you doing mine, my next one. So,
absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, that definitely instills a little sense of pride in you. They saw your work, they appreciate your work, they respect your work, and they want you, like Kevin said, picking apart their home to make sure that they're making the best decision for their family.
Yeah. Cost of a home inspection, we get asked that, well, how much is it? And a lot of times that's the very first question that comes out of someone's mouth, and we get it, that they're in this long process of buying a home, which can be very nerve-wracking. And we base our price on square footage. That's where we start, and it just kind of goes from there. We're fair. We're in the middle. We're basically average with just about anyone else that's around here, and that's pretty much how we do it. Sometimes we may price a house out based on what we've picked up from the listing, and there's times that we'll get there and it's like, it really wasn't that much, and you know what, we'll actually give them a break at the time of inspection, because it just, we felt that it was more deserving like that. So a lot of times we'll make a judgment call like that. We do that with veterans, with senior citizens as well. We get money can be tight, but the bottom line is with the value. What I tell people is this is going to be the smallest check you're going to write through this whole process that can save you the most money potentially, and that usually kind of rings with people. Then it's at that point in time.
Yeah, it's a little surprising how contentious a home inspection price can be. Just as an example, let's say you're purchasing a $200,000 home, and our fee is $350. I mean, that's less than 1/100th the cost of the home. But we've lost jobs, because someone down the street is offering to do it for $25 less. So we definitely know our value, and we're comfortable in our rates. But like Kevin said, every instance is different. Of course, repeat customers will, work with them on pricing as best we can. We always try to help out veterans where possible. And, but yeah, each situation is different. But like I said, I think we're priced competitively, and we're comfortable, with what we offer.
Yeah, I mean, the purpose, we kind of explained that in our previous episodes. You can go back and take a look at, and the value, there's really not a dollar amount you can put on it to have peace of mind with that. So, we're going to wrap up today's episode, and join us for our next episode when it's time to get inspected, and we're going to be covering some of those points.